Well, these are some of the pictures you get with a CAT scanner, and this is really the textbook three-dimensional images of the heart. Heart disease is a lifelong process. At some point, it often does present itself, but it usually presents itself in the form of a heart attack and often sudden death. We want to detect it before we get there. If we look here going from left to right, we see a normal blood vessel, which is mainly a tube that has a wall to it, a thin wall. But eventually you start to get that wall filled up with garbage, as I say. That garbage is a mix of things. It's got the cholesterol, it's got the cells, it's got the calcium. Only when it's severe, and if we try to look in the size of that tube, only when it's severe do you start to see that tube starting to narrow down. Okay? It's a phenomenon called positive remodeling, and it's important to know about because it's the reason why the traditional treadmill stress test only is positive when you have severe blockages. Okay? Because only at that point, when the blood vessel is small, can we detect a blockage in blood flow by running you on a treadmill test. Treadmill tests are good for chest pain because that's when we're worried most about that severe blockage. But they're not that great in someone who's running 5 miles a day feeling well. But about the fact that half of the time the first diagnosis of heart disease is, in my mind, too late. The other thing is that almost 2/3 of heart attacks appear to occur in blockages that are not severe. So, we might run you on a treadmill, say it looks great, you go out, you have a heart attack. What happened? Is it that the person running the treadmill didn't know what they were doing? Did you not run far enough, fast enough? Well, those are possible, but in reality, we're not detecting the blockages that are causing a lot of the heart attacks. And that's, we can go into more detail individually why has that happened, but just to think of the real, what we call unstable blockages, those are the ones that have a lot of this cholesterol in it. And they don't tend to be really severely narrowed, but they can suddenly change and cause a blood clot on them to cause a heart attack. Cholesterol phenomenon too, very common. Well, my cholesterol is normal. It's less than 200. I say, if you have heart disease, it's not normal. Okay, you're making heart disease with it. It's toxic to your system. So numbers are worthwhile for populations, but they're not worthwhile for individuals, and that's the key point. It's good when you're sitting down and you're trying to plan a strategy to treat 100,000 people. You need to use averages and all that kind of thing. But there's a lot of variation between people, and we have to keep that in mind. So here's the cigar smoker. You can't judge a book by a cover. So Sir Winston Churchill smoked cigars all the time, drank, ate, overweight, stressful job. Lived to 91. Jim Fixx, famous athlete, exercise, promoted health, died at 53 of a heart attack. Now, is that fair? Well, we could argue that one, but it's reality. It happened. Why is that? What could we do to figure that out? Well, it just goes to show you can't just look at the individual and say, well, you're the one going to have a heart attack, and you're the one not. I learned that pretty quickly in cardiology training, where we do a lot of angiography, and we go in and I'd say, well, I think this person's definitely going to have a bunch of blockages. Boom, completely normal. This one, no, they're not going to have anything. Oh, they have blockages all over. Now there is some benefit of looking at other things, and I would say it's a complete flip of the coin, but it happens enough, you get surprised enough with very important issues like, do you have heart disease or not? Are you going to die of a heart attack or not? That you don't want to get wrong. You don't want to be wrong very often. So we need other ways to try to figure these things out. So if we keep waiting, you get the chest pain. We're missed a lot of opportunities. Thank you.